video. Why can't I get that? No, I'm gonna redo that. Hey everyone, Krissy here with 2 Sheep, 1 Wheat, and today I have an overview for you and a review on Destinies. Let's get to it. Alright, so today's game is on Destinies by Lucky Duck Games, and I just wanted to say thank you to them for supplying this game for me to review it for you guys. So let's just go into it. And I will not be showing you anything that you shouldn't see because I don't want to ruin any surprises for you. And I don't want to ruin any surprises for me either because I have not played with this character. So let's get into it. Here are 2 player boards set up. This game is 1 to 3 players, but I have 2 set up for you. So each player gets their player card or their character card and their Destinies card. There are 2 options at the back of here. You can choose to do 1 or 2 or whichever. Now you also get your main dice and you have your effort dice right here, these purple ones. Each player gets 1 coin and you all get a starter item. Now these right here, these are your skills. And these are your markers here, and that's based off of how many successes that you'll get whenever you are talking to somebody or fighting somebody or something. So these blue ones right here, this is intelligence. This green one here is dexterity, and the red is power. So once all the player boards are set up, you can go ahead into the app, select your character, and it'll give you a little bit more in-depth about that person, the character, what you need to start with and everything, and also these skill markers right here. It'll tell you exactly per character what they are. Now in this game, these markers, the skill markers, when you're rolling the dice and depending on what you get, so let's just go ahead and say that we are trying to roll for the intelligence track right here. If you see this is 4 and this is an automatic success. So this is 4 and however many markers are from on 4 and over here, that is how many successes you get. So technically this would be 2 successes. But if you rolled, let's say, these only go up to 3. But let's just say that you rolled this one too. And you got this right here, and that would be a 7. So now you're on 7, and there are 2 markers right here with this extra hit, so that would be 3. Everything that you encounter in the app, you'll need to test your skill for, and you would either need 1 to 6 successes to be able to speak to that person, gain an item from that person, win a battle against some creature in the woods. Anything like that, you are testing, you're always rolling these dice, and you're testing some sort of skill. Now you're using these tiles here, and it comes with a whole stack of them. You get a whole stack of them to be able to use in all of the scenarios that you get to play with. So your starting characters will be placed on the tile, and you'll also get some of these interest markers for anything that you can visit in the app. In the game, you're allowed to move up to 2 tiles, except whenever you're moving to an undiscovered tile, you would have to stop there and search anything that is in this tile. So whenever you select it in the app, it'll tell you all of the points of interest in the game, and it will tell you if there are any new characters on that area as well. Now, let's just say that you want to visit one of these areas right here. That is where you would click it. That is where you would click it on the app. Now it could be a person that's there also, even though it doesn't have one of the characters, one of the minis that are actually on that tile. So visiting there, you might come across a merchant or somebody or a blacksmith who will have some of the items that you can purchase from. Now if that were the case, you would take the items that they are selling, all by the number here, and you would set up shop. Let's just go ahead and grab some different ones. So let's go ahead and just say that this merchant or whoever is selling these items, if you visit them, you would be able to purchase some of those with your coins. Now, purchasing any of these, they get to be placed down here, and there are room at the bottom of your board for 5 item slots. certain people that you come across in this game, you can ask them about your destiny, and all you would need to do is scan the code here on your destiny card, and sometimes they'll tell you certain things. Sometimes they will request items. You can scan these codes right here, and if it is an item that they want, then you would need to discard it. Another way that you would discard a card is by utilizing it for its special ability right here. This one says that if you have a power skill at 1, you can gain some of these experience points here. Now, you also gain some of these experience points when you're speaking with someone and you do not pass, you have no successes, or you don't have enough successes in your skills, and they will give you some of these tokens as well. And now these ones, what you would do is you would discard it on your turn when you are not in contact with anybody or in any battle or anything. And what that allows you to do is move up 1 marker twice, or it'll allow you to move 2 markers 1 space. Now, obviously, you would want to have more markers over here towards the left side of your board, because you'd be able to roll a lower number and still get more successes, or potentially the same amount as if you had rolled a 10 or higher. Now, sometimes when you visit places or speak to different characters or minis, they will give you items and you'll have to go looking for them. And sometimes those items will be these always items. Now, these ones do cost more if you are buying them from a merchant or things like that. So whenever you are using their abilities, you always keep them. But this one's a pretty neat one, because anytime that you discard any of these cards, you would actually be able to gain that ability. Now, this one means that you can go up 1 on the dexterity skill track. Now, also, whenever you are moving and discovering new tiles, chances are, if you're still new in the game, it will open up more locations just like this that are undiscovered. When you're in the app and it is telling you to place these tiles down, it will give you a description of what the tile is, so that you kind of have an understanding, because sometimes on the back of your card, it'll give you a specific description about something or someone, so you will know whenever that tile comes out, and you can kind of figure out who's going to be on that tile and potentially go to discover that and help you out on your journey for your destiny. In the app, once you have completed 1 or both of your destinies, it will tell you that you have completed it. It won't necessarily tell you what you completed it, to not give it away to any of the other players. And at the bottom of your Destinies card, at the bottom, I won't show you because I don't want to give it away, but it will tell you where you have to go so that you can begin the end of the game. Now, just because you are the first person to go and complete it and go to that spot that you need to start the end of the game, doesn't necessarily mean that you will win the game. Somebody else could go to their final destination and win. So that is just a little bit on how the game plays and how it looks. I did really enjoy playing this game. I have not played it solo, but I have played it at 2 and 3 players. And I will say that playing it at 3 players definitely takes a little bit longer than it does playing with 2 players. And there is a lot more of information being passed around that you do have to remember. But the app does do a pretty good job at helping you remember what's everywhere, because once it is your turn, you can actually maneuver around the app and clicking on certain tiles, and it does ask you to confirm that that's where you want to go. So you can still click on them just to see a little bit of the information that is on the apps. And you can do that by clicking on some people and clicking on some of the tokens that are on the tiles. And it does a really good job. I still found myself missing some information. Everybody is reading everything out loud, and there's just a lot sometimes that people are reading. Sometimes you forget who visited where, and sometimes you're visiting the same spots and getting the exact same information that the other person got. So playing at 3 players anyway, it did get a little bit confusing, and a lot of the players I found at 3 players were going kind of for the same thing. So it was a little discouraging whenever you got to the next person and they end up finding something that potentially you needed to complete your destiny or to help you even start your destiny. And not knowing whether you should visit that person to get the same item, and then sometimes the person didn't even need that item. It wasn't even one of their destinies, and here they are collecting all of them. So kind of leaving you having to only do one of your destinies instead of trying to collect both of them to figure out which one you want to do for your finale whenever it comes to the end of your game. So I did find that for 3 players. 2 players, it went a lot more smooth, I found, because after the other person, it's your turn again, and you kind of remember things a little bit more. It doesn't take as long to get back to your turn that way. So let's just talk about the quality here for a second too with this game. I'm not sure if you can see that, how thick this cardboard is for their tokens, and for all of their tokens. Their tokens are all really, really thick. They're probably like the double thickness of a normal token for any other game. I like that all these dice are all really nice too, and it comes with a lot of them, obviously enough for 3 players. So there's 3 more of these dice in the box and 2 more of these dice. I like that both the dice are different colors, they're different sizes, so that it's easily distinguishable which one that you need to play with, and how to play with them. And I really enjoy how they utilize this track for your skills, and the way, like, usually the higher number is the better one, but how you're rolling your dice and figuring out, it's just the whole mechanism of it was really nifty to me. I really did enjoy this, and I enjoyed that you were able to, like, these tokens right here would allow you to move them around based on what you're doing, because not every skill test is the same, right? You might be fighting something one moment, you might be testing your intelligence the next. So with these tokens, you're able to maneuver things around for that specific test that you're trying to do. And these cards, the way that they use these always cards too, are pretty nifty. The way that they cost more for one, the looks of them, you know, they have a different look to them. Most of them are like gold, metal, silver, something holy, something like, what's the word I'm looking for? Spiritual, kind of like to go with witches, right? Mystical creatures, charms, tarot cards, things like that, right? Like I said, more well sought after, and that they are an always benefit versus these ones down here, which are just kind of like your normal everyday items. You know, there's rope, poison, I feel like that should be an always. Documents, shovels, just your everyday things, right? Fire, candles, dice, things like that, just your everyday items on those cards. And these cards are pretty thick as well too. They're probably about the same thickness as these cards here. We did get to play 3 scenarios, and these tiles, some of them come out more often, and some of them come out the same ones, and for different scenarios they all work together. And there are some of these tiles in there that are different, like some are the exact same but they are bloody or on fire and things like that. And there's just a whole bunch of these tiles too. I think our 3rd scenario, we probably had 9, 10, 11, 12, like 12 to 15 tiles actually did come out. So it could potentially get pretty large. And I'm thinking that as you go on, I think there are 5 scenarios that you can do. The minis get a little bit larger too. And I'm assuming that this is a boss, right? I'm assuming that this is a boss of some sort, probably for the 5th one. So this mini is pretty large, and they all come in this neat little organizer here. So you do have some bigger minis, but there are some mini minis. I don't know if you can see that. Some mini minis. And they're all different kinds. Now, one good thing too about the app is that it actually shows you what the mini looks like so that you can easily find it in this, because there are quite a bit. There's probably like, what, 20 little minis on here. So it does tell you and show you what it is so that you can easily find it, place it on the board. Now, something I will say about this game too is that your minis, your character minis, are the same size, same color as all the other minis. So sometimes I have found myself misplacing my mini and actually using another character's or even just another mini that's supposed to be in that specific spot on that tile. This is the second game that I've played that is app-driven, and I actually quite enjoy it. I didn't think that I would enjoy it as much as I do. The first one was also by Lucky Duck Games, their Chronicles of Crime 1800, that just kind of opened up the door for me. So I was really excited to try out Destinies. So the app, I'll post just a screenshot of what it looks like right here. And this app has everything. Everything that you need to read, characters that you need to talk to, tokens that are there, even from whenever you've overstayed your welcome at a specific landmark on one of the tiles, it'll just disappear. It'll tell you to remove it off of the board from the app. Everything is in this app. Everything is color-coded too, so it'll even have all these little symbols here for whenever you're testing a specific skill. And it'll tell you before you go into contact with that person or that specific tasks, so that you can rearrange your skills just to make sure that for a better chance of succeeding and getting those successes. So again, everything is in the app. It was really, really well designed and user-friendly too. Like obviously this is my second game with an app, so it was super easy to use and everything is written out for you. And I'm pretty sure that the first scenario was kind of more of just a learning one and showing you how to use the app and everything like that. So if you're worried about that, I wouldn't be. I've really enjoyed Destinies, and if you are into app-driven games, why not give Destinies a try? Anyway, this was my overview and my review, and I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will catch you next video. Wait, what? What is happening? What is happening? I don't understand this.